I am Vicki Starnes. I am the director and curator of the Crawford Long Museum. Dr. Long is the Georgia physician that did the first painless surgery here in Jefferson, Georgia on March 30th, 1842. So basically he is the discoverer of anesthesia, and it's recognized every year, that date, for National Doctors Day. So we have that coming up. Every year we place a wreath on the memorial, the obelisk, the monument out on the square, and then we typically deliver individual carnations, which is a symbol of Doctors Day, to all of the local medical providers. But due to COVID, we haven't really been able, with the restrictions, being able to go inside. We've had the yard signs made, and we're going to place those around in front of the buildings this year. The diorama was built in DeLand, Florida for the opening in 1957, and it represents, it's a perfect depiction of how the first surgery actually happened. James Venable was the patient. He had 2 cysts on the back of his neck, and he didn't want to have them cut out because he knew it would be painful. And he had been to frolic parties before. There was a fad in the 1800s known as frolic parties, kind of like a keg party today, although it was a frolic party where they would inhale laughing gas. Well, students would come to Dr. Long and want to get nitrous oxide or laughing gas, and he couldn't get that, but he knew that sulfuric ether had the same exhilarating effects, and so he would provide them with the ether, and they would inhale it on a cloth and fall off the porch and bang their knees and not really seem to remember it or feel any pain. So that's what gave him the idea that he could do painless surgery. So you can see he's inhaling the sulfuric ether, and he removed it, and when he came to, he was like, well, when are you gonna start? And Dr. Long showed him in his hand the cyst, and he's like, I'm already finished, you know. So obviously it was a painless surgery, and history was made right here in the little town of Jefferson. The Long Gallery actually takes you on a journey through Long's life. He wasn't your ordinary country doctor. He graduated from the University of Pennsylvania in 1839 with a medical degree and came back to open his practice in Jefferson, and that's when he made his momentous discovery of using sulfuric ether for painless surgery. Before anesthesia was discovered, if people had to have anything, like if you had injured your toe or your finger and you had to have it amputated because of the germs that they didn't really understand all that well back then, you would go to the doctor and they would ring a bell outside the doctor's office to let the town know that surgery was going to happen, and they'd need some strong men to come in and hold the patient down. Back in Dr. Long's time, he was also the pharmacist, and he would have taken the medicine bag to his house calls, as well as his all of his other equipment. You know, he would have taken the medicine bag, and so we have his medicine bag that was in his possession the night that he died. He was on a house call delivering a baby, and he had an aneurysm, and he told him to care for the mother and child before me. So we have his medicine bag. It has his handwriting. It says morphine, gentian. I mean, it's my favorite thing in the museum. This is the exhibit on early inhalation anesthesia. You see the ether dropper bottle and the wire mask that they would drop the ether on for you to inhale. It progresses to the handheld devices where there would be a sponge in the bottom of that, and you would put your mouth on it and inhale the vapors that way. The problem with administering anesthesia with handhelds is that the gases were going in the room. So then it became the rise of the machines, where they started adding other gases and gauges and filters. So pretty much we have a century worth of the development of anesthesia up here. The Jefferson Academy brought almost 500 students through 1 week, and it was so since we were on a time crunch, we did a team building activity for them instead of me just talking to them and taking them through. And we used a set of story cards that we had developed that had pictures of different things in the museum, and they had to work as a team to figure out which gallery it would be in and to find it, and then they could turn it over and read the rest of the story to their team. So it was a good interactive way for them to see the museum and learn about a lot of the artifacts that we have here. Although we're still fully closed to the public at the moment, I'm hoping that we get the approval from our city manager to open the doors maybe this summer. But until then, we are taking reservations and tours by appointment. Probably the fact that I do have carte blanche. I have the ability to create programming and do new exhibits, and it's kind of like one big scrapbook that I get to preserve. I think that a historic and cultural organization that's associated with people and events from the past that in the community, that gives that community their sense of identity, and it helps tell the story, and that gives the visitors opportunity to learn what makes a community special.